Bears fans, sometimes you just can't make it up anymore. Matt Eberflus finds another way to lose. And listen, at this point, it's just creative. He just finds a creative way to screw this team and snatch defeat from the hands of victory. And he does it over and over and over again. And I know that this was not a victory per se, that we kick the field goal, we tie the game, we go to overtime. I understand. But at the same time, all you had to do was call a timeout. Problem solved. And you're the head coach, right? However, Matt Eberflus, he's not having any of that. He blamed Caleb Williams for everything. So we're going to check this out. Today should be the last day of Matt Eberflus. Most of the NFL largely now expects Matt Eberflus to be let go today, and we're just going to be done with it, and they'll name an interim head coach, and we'll move on. But if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Let's break it down. And Jesus, why? Even FanDuel has been sharing this around X for the last 24 hours. They get it. Everybody gets it. It's just a matter of. The Bears fall to 4-8. They are 0-5 away from home. Caleb Williams, however, comes in 20 of 39 for 256 yards with 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but he was sacked 5 times. However, his quarterback rating, 97.8. Compared to Jared Goff's 100.2. Like, these are two great quarterbacks playing a great game. So where do we go from here? Well, to summarize what ends up happening here, the game is on the line. The Bears are in field goal range. There's about 20 seconds left on the clock. Caleb Williams starts to direct a play, and it takes all of 20 seconds so that we don't have any time left on the clock. Caleb Williams then forced to throw towards the end zone to try to make something happen with almost no time left on the clock. Now, at some point, the grown-ups, by that I mean coaches, need to step in and start using timeouts. Matt Eberflus decided to keep a timeout for the post-game presser. I have no idea what the logic and reason behind this was, other than to say, well, back in 1974, I saw a head coach one time who said, you always want to make sure you have one left just so you can kick a field goal. That's the best I can give you as a reason for this being the case. Like, I just don't know what to say. But let's continue on here. DeAndre Swift, we should point out here that only 11 carries, only rushed the ball 15 times. Like, look, we're looking for 30 rushes per game. In the natural flow of a game, we would like to see a little bit more out of this. Averaging 3.5 yards a carry. That's not great, but I think that Chicago got away from the rushing game just a little bit too much recently. Also, receiving, DJ Moore, 8 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 5 for 73, 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet still not really getting involved, but 3 on 3 targets. Roma Dunze, 2 off of 6 targets. So looks like Caleb Williams struggling just a little bit with accuracy as that early part of the game was going on. So, here we are. Now, the Bears basically shut out in the first half of the game, come back and score 20 points in the second half to make the game interesting. A game that, look, I told you guys at the beginning of this year, if the Chicago Bears play the way the Chicago Bears can play and the way that they're lined up and the way that they are able to, then guess what? They are a better team than the Detroit Lions. But coaching, you can't outplay coaching, apparently, because here we are. Now, let's break this all down and see what's going on. Bears are reportedly on the cusp of breaking a century-old tradition. And look, every one of these guys, Dick Jordan, Dave Wannstedt, Mark Trestman, all of them, Matt Nagy, everybody's had an opportunity to stay for the entire season. But Bill Zimmerman says that he's getting some inside information to Bears blog as well. Robert Schmitz also spoke to some people locally and nationally. There's a growing swell that believe Eberflus will lose his job at some point this weekend. One said they absolutely know what they have to do. It's just a matter of when they do it. So now, and look, there's a bunch of this going around, right? And do you ruin Caleb Williams by leaving Matt Eberflus in? No, that's not, we overreact sometimes as fans and say that the quarterback is going to be ruined by a couple more games with this guy, and that's not really true. But What would be true is if you have an inkling that Thomas Brown might be your guy, move him in and let him kick the rust off, if you will, or learn a little bit on the job for this last 5-game stretch, and give us kind of an interview, if you will, of what would be to come in the event that he were that guy. If you don't think that he's that guy, appoint Richard Hightower as your interim coach. Allow Eric Washington and Thomas Brown to cook until you bring in whomever it is that you want. Now, problem with hiring one of the things that we're not looking at, by the way, is if we do like Thomas Brown and we want to go the way of bringing in a new head coach, Thomas Brown cannot be part of that deal. So there's a complicated thing that's going to play out here over the next little while. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but largely expected that Chicago Bears will make a change, and that change will come today. Now, why would that be? Well, listen, there's been talk that Matt Eberflus has lost the team, that the team's no longer playing hard. And look, the product on the field, they are close against really good competition every single week. It's the coaching decisions at the end of the game that continue to cost. It's the not going for the extra yardage so that Cairo Santos has a better trajectory. Or why is he not on the right side of the hash? Why is it suddenly he wants to be on the left? I don't know, when we know that Cairo openly prefers the right-hand side. So why do we do that? I have no idea. There's some things here that just don't make any sense. Hail Marys. Tyreek Stevenson's been checked out since that game. So, there's a lot of stuff to unpack. Now, what we had before, though, was a little bit of harmony, a little bit of team unity. The amount of kickback was very nominal and minimal. But now you have players, including Keenan Allen, coming out and saying, I feel like we did enough as players to win the game. That's embarrassing for a coach, or should be embarrassing for a coach with integrity, to say, oh my God, like this guy is just literally saying that the reason that we didn't win is because of me. And I mean, look, it is. Also, Matt Eberflus in the post-game presser takes no accountability. Remember the phrase, accountability was the important thing. Guess what he didn't do? Take accountability. What he said was that, it's, Caleb Williams messed that up. So he comes out and basically says that, in that situation, I'm living with the call, and I let the coaches and everybody make that decision depending on whether it's time, depending on whether it's the guys running back and they're far downfield. Whatever that situation is, it's going to be coach's call, maybe in the later years of my career. But right now, I get the call. I'm trying to lead the guys to win, and I'm trying to get everybody lined up from there, and I'm trying to make a play for the Chicago Bears. Now, basically, this is Caleb Williams saying, hey, look, it's not my fucking fault. You're the one that's supposed to call the timeout. You're the head coach. I'm staring at the team, trying to get them ready for the next play. You're the one staring at the clock, trying to stop it so that I can do that. So, but Matt Eberflus, no, it's Caleb's fault. So now you have the head coach openly feuding with a star wide receiver. DJ Moore completely frustrated. Montez Sweat completely frustrated. Caleb Williams firing back at his head coach. What do you make of this? Well, I mean, look, Matt Eberflus is a cancer to the success of this team. They're not playing hard for him. They're not working hard for him. They're not making smart decisions. You cannot continue at this level, and every day that Ryan Pohl and Kevin Warren continue to allow this to happen, they are complicit in the ruining of a franchise all over again. Look, you draft players, and what do the Chicago Bears do? You draft Mitch Trubisky, and then what do? You change coach, and you ruin his 4 years. So you decide that you're going to go back to the well one more time. You get Justin Fields. What do? You lame duck head coach. 1 season later, you're getting a new head coach. What do? You dump Justin Fields before even his 4th year to bring in Caleb Williams so that you can run it back one more time, and now you've got a coach who is deliberately losing you game. Like there's no getting around this. The Bears, who have said over and over again that this is not what they want to do, had a chance last year to get Jim Harbaugh, who is now having a great season out in Los Angeles. They had an opportunity to get Ben Johnson, who is the #1 offensive coordinator. They had opportunities to make big-time changes for the betterment of the Chicago Bears, and they chose to stand pat and say, hey, look, we're going to lean into this guy, and we think that Matt Eberflus is that guy. And listen, we know it's Ryan Pohl, but if nobody does anything about it right now, all they are doing is sending a message that the coach is more important than the team and the fans. And that is the wrong message for the Chicago Bears to be sending. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Matt Eberflus should be gone any moment now. When we do, we'll have a shark. All right, guys. Final score, 2023. Detroit Lions find a way to win. Chicago Bears, I should say, find another way. We'll talk to you again very, very soon.